What's on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering. I have no idea what this man was thinking. Apparently, Karmelo Anthony's father jumped on a live TikTok, a TikTok that was taking place to praise his son, and made things very, very bad for him. It's like he wants him to get convicted or something like that. I don't know what he was thinking. I have no idea. So there was like this TikTok get together called Karmelo Anthony for President. Learn the law, no tent police. I don't know what that means. But if this is really him, now look, all I know is that he said that he was Karmelo's father. Maybe he wasn't. But everything he says during this live is kind of disturbing. And it has now been submitted to the district attorney who's working on the case. So he just made everything worse for his son. So in a TikTok live hosted by an individual who refers to Karmelo as a hero and argues self-defense, a surprise guest appeared. Drew Anthony, Karmelo's father, joined the live and stated that he wasn't charged for carrying his knife. He was only charged with taking the other kid's life. During the live, Drew made some unusual statements. What if you took your son to fight and your son knocked him out and something bad happens? You'd be an accessory. It's like he's worried about getting charged. Did he take his son to the school to take care of business? Was this man not Karmelo Anthony's father? It certainly seems like it is. I have not seen. I waited a few days when this video broke because I wanted to see, if we'd see any, denial from anyone else involved. So far, I have not seen anybody come out to deny it. This Dominique guy has not. I'm gonna see if he has put out a statement. Wasn't it NGAN? Next Generation Action Network. I don't see anything. I want to see if they put out here he is, Minister Dominique Alexander. Who could forget? Today it's immigration. Tomorrow it's police. Next week's reproductive rights. The pattern is clear. So he's calling for more burning of cop cars. Apparently, I see at no point here he's just doing his general fascism is bad, we're good, LA riots are good. He has not denied anywhere that this is his father's video. I remain, maybe it wasn't him, but nobody has denied it up until now. The video's been out for almost a week. So listen to this. This is crazy.
Has a weapon on this panel. Who carries a weapon?
I have a pocket.
So, who carries a weapon? I have a pocket poker. See, on TikTok, I guess they can't say knife, so they say poker, and they can't say that they took somebody's life. They have to say unalived, which is weird because I imagine that TikTok also searches for that word.
Poker on my
Okay, you said
Excuse me. Hey.
you have a weapon.
Hey, excuse me, y'all. I'm not carrying one to high school.
Okay, well, Mike,
I had one all through middle school, high school.
They are. They can own rifles at the age of 18.
They're talking about white people.
Hey, y'all. Hey, I'm Carmelo's dad. I just want
So this guy says, I'm Karmelo's dad.
to say something. Hello? Y'all, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Now, maybe it's somebody who's impersonating his dad. It sounds like him, but, this is very, very bad if it's really him.
So.
And by the way, it would make sense that it's his dad, coming on to correct the facts.
First thing, let's get something understood. He wasn't charged for carrying a knife. If y'all look at it, he was only charged for murder one.
So it sounds like he doesn't understand the TikTok lingo, so it's possible. So they're correcting him. You got to say poker, you can't say knife, and you can't say murder, you have to say unalived.
Secondly, the same guy that just said about him taking his son to school to fight. So what about if you take your son to school to fight and your son knock him out and kill him? Then what?
Unalive.
Unalive. What do you do then?
I mean, Carmelo's dad here has a valid point. Like, you can't be taking your kid to school to fight. There have been many parents charged with this.
I'm mute your mic, Mike.
I was going to ask the same question.
What do you do then, sir?
What do you mean? What do I do? He was defending
You
himself.
just said you would take your son to a school to fight. So if he hit him and that kid gets knocked out, and that's a 1-on-1, this ain't 2-on-1. He gets hit and he kills him. Meaning he hit him and hit his head on a rock. Unalive. Keep saying this. I'm not used to this, y'all. But I don't know why I jumped in on this tonight. But what do you do as a father? It's like we can't win.
He says we, which is, interesting. I mean, he's talking about as fathers. I don't know. I mean, I actually understand why, maybe you might feel inclined to jump in when all these people are talking about you or your son. I can't imagine his lawyer has not told, I am sure his lawyer has said, like, yo, you can't do this. You can't be getting involved. I'm sure he knew better.
So you took your son to school, so you gonna get accessory because you took him to school.
That actually happened. Carmelo's dad. That actually
Carmelo's
happened.
dad.
I know. I don't know, Mike, if you're familiar with the case by Kaylee Gang. Her mother drove her to the school after she was suspended to fight a girl, and she ended up in a coma.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
she got slammed into concrete and got put in a coma for months.
and that's what
For me, it's
Also, just another scenario.
I ain't gonna lie. That is a good point. I'm not gonna lie.
We can't. Hey, it's like this, honestly, and I'm gonna let y'all go. I appreciate you.
I mean, interesting. I mean, I don't know why he would be jumping into any kind of TikTok eyes or TikTok lives. Remember when they said it was a cleat sharpener? Well, now it sounds like he's admitting it was, in fact, a knife. Am I the only one hearing? I'm the only one that heard his father implying that he took his son to the track meet knowing he had a weapon, but he can't admit it because he doesn't want to be an accessory. I mean, it's possible. People are saying that, the disrespect is insane. It shows how bad of a father he is. I mean, people are interpreting this that the father, knew. Like, you say, hold up, before I listen to this, Karmelo Anthony for president, these people can't be serious. Don't go to TikTok, it's bad. Is he implying that he told his son to take the knife to school? I don't think that's what he's implying, to be honest with you. It doesn't seem like it. He says, yes, the other guys out there, his family is doing no favors. He should have kept his mouth shut. I mean, he did say, hey, these other people, they're armed. So it sounds like maybe, let me listen to that section again.
If y'all look at it, he was only charged, to get someone understood. He wasn't charged for carrying a knife. If y'all look at it, he was only charged for murder 1. Secondly, the same guy that just said about him taking his son to school to fight. So what about if you take your son to school to fight and your son knock him out and kill him? Then what? Unalive. What do you do then?
I'm mute your mic, Mike.
I was going to ask the same question.
What do you do then, sir?
I mean, it sounds like I think people are confusing this other guy who's talking about taking his kid to a fight. That's not Carmelo's dad. Carmelo's dad, I believe, is the one that's saying, you'd be the accessory. People are saying what he's saying there is that he knew his son was going there to fight, and he was, he couldn't admit it. I don't know if it says that, but certainly now this is going to be more information entered into the court in a case that, in my opinion, is already wildly cut and dry. You know, the Give, Send, Go, now up to $535,000. People are still donating money. 16 hours ago, one day ago. So hundreds of dollars are still pouring into the Give, Send, Go. There has been no update for almost 2 months now. The last update was on April 15th. He's supposed to be indicted this month. So I guess we're going to learn a lot from that indictment. Meaning, is he going to get the murder charge, or are they going to give him some sort of lesser charge? You know, I suspect that they will give him a lesser charge. Most people no longer are covering this anymore. And that's sad, because what I've seen already is a lot of corruption, lowering the bond, letting him graduate, all this kind of stuff, making excuses for his behavior. We're going to see, if that was his dad, I'm sure he's in big trouble. You see this? Karmelo Anthony's father, it's already starting, should be charged with accessory. He admitted he drove his son to school to handle business in a podcast. What an idiot. No, that wasn't Karmelo's dad that said that. So, obviously there's this new, people are memeing on him.
I invited you here because you profited $500,000 by simply stabbing a white kid at a track meet. Possibly in self-defense and also possibly not. By the way, I admire your entrepreneurial creativity. With my ability to profit off of marginalized black communities and your successful business idea, we will make lots of money. I know exactly how we'll get funding for this wildly out-of-the-box idea of black kids stabbing white kids.
Yeah. They go to Shark Tank. I think I've played that before, so I'll leave it here. What do you think? You think that was his father on the live? If so, big mistake. It's apparently now been submitted to the DA, so that's not going to do him any favors. I'll continue to update you. I suspect there won't be much more on this until we have an indictment. Make sure you subscribe or follow down below so you get notified the second I upload, so you get all the breaking news, and we'll talk to you again real soon.